Good afternoon, Good afternoon, welcome to the Big Shave on August the 14th, 2011. Me, Steve Farragher, in Liverpool. Bit of an experiment today, really, because we're trying out a couple of new things. We're using a different shaving cream, and this is Gillette Lemon and Lime. Found it I was on market yesterday, and I found this. It was 50p a tube, so I just thought I'd give it a little try, really, and see whether it's any good compared to the old Arco. Obviously, it's going to have a smell to it. It smells lemon and limey, which is good. There's that's what it looks like. It's quite thick. I'm going to put a little bit into a coffee cup. Just see what it lathers up like. Put about an inch or so in there. So we'll see what that's like. So we're going to see what that's going to turn out like. See if it's better than the Arco. A couple of people asked me about the Arco, what it smells like. If you've not used Arco before, it's got a very old-fashioned smell, really. It smells of soap, which is quite a bizarre thing, isn't it, really, when you think about it? But the only way to describe it is it smells clean. It just smells clean, makes you feel very clean. The other thing we're going to do is we're not using the standard razor this time. I've got two unusual razors, and this is one of them. It's made in England, and it's an ever ready. You can probably see it, and I think I've shown people it before, but I can't get any blades for this. Don't know. This blade I'm putting in the second razor, which I'm going to use, does sort of fit it, but it doesn't fit it very snugly. This one, which I'm assuming, well, I don't know actually what it is. I don't know what brand it is. It's brass. It's very, very heavy. It takes a blade, takes a single blade, and it's one of these ones that you twist. So you twist the bottom, and the top flips up, and it takes a blade. It's like a craft blade, really. It takes one of them, which is an old-fashioned razor blade, single edge razor blade, fits in, and bought these off eBay. These are for craft knives, so I'm gonna try it in here, see what it's like. I've just honed it slightly on the razor pit. It's either going to work or it's going to be a total disaster. So we'll see. I might have to give up halfway through and go back to one of my standard razors. So we'll see how it goes anyway. So if we can find. I'll tell you what. I'm also going to use this brush as well because it's got no Arco in it, so we'll be able to tell. So we're going to wet the brush a little bit, and we're going to lather up in the cup, and I'll speak while I'm doing that. So we've had this very, very well. If people don't know, we've had riots in Britain. Britain's been racked by riots. People breaking into shops and city centres and burning and looting, and it's all been very, very strange, really, because it's sort of it kicked off in London. Someone was shot by the police, and then there was a demonstration, and the demonstration turned into a riot, and then there was riots in different parts of London. Some places you didn't really expect them to happen, and then on the Monday night they started to take place in other places besides London, mainly young people, I'd say. Not really riots in the sense of the way that the people were rioting for a specific thing. In Britain in the 1990s we had what we call the poll tax riots, and people were protesting against something. So they seem to be a bit aimless riots, really, just people looting and stealing stuff. Some people, obviously it's upset a lot of people, and people are blaming the government and the government cuts and all that type of thing, and it obviously to some extent it plays into the government's hands, because the government now has a mandate to clear these things out. But it's a lot of the civil unrest and antisocial behaviour is down to low levels of employment, high levels of unemployment. And in some areas, including the place where I live, there's a lot, there's a high level of unemployment, and there's not many jobs, really. And I've just got some lather on my glasses, which is very, very good, isn't it? It's not bad, that lather. It's not very rich, you've seen in the past, haven't you, the way Arco goes on like a cream. It's got a bit more on. I've got a feeling I'm going to need plenty of lather for this razor, so I'm actually patting it on and it's the first one with music in the background, isn't it? It's a bit of Gilbert and Sullivan. It's actually a DVD and it's just playing the start of it over and over again. So we're going to start shaving downwards now. This is either going to be crap or good. Now I think the shape of this blade is trying to get me to have this very, not at an angle like that, but quite low. It's actually working. It's actually working. It's tugging a little bit. Now this might settle down a little bit. I'm trying not to push too hard because I'm pretty sure it'll cut a big chunk out of my face. Ow! 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 Oh! Oh! Right, I don't think this is going to last, folks. I think this is one of these experiments doomed to failure. Okay. Oh, it's not too bad on that side, not too bad. I've got two days growth, you see, so it's probably struggling a little bit against that. But I think you'd have to, I don't know what you have to do to get this to work. Ow, 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 it's not really working. A little bit more. A tiny bit more. And I think I'm going to give up. Okay, so that was a failed experiment. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll turn the blade over to see if that makes any difference. So at the moment everyone's, it's a big news, all these riots and everything, and we had some in Liverpool, in one part of Liverpool in particular, around the Smithdown Road area. Well, it seems a bit better actually, so... the funny thing is, people who know I'm from Kensington have been asking me a sort of loaded question after the riots, what was it like in Kensington last night? What was it like? And I've got to say, we had very, very little problems. We had problems most of the time, so you've got to balance those two things out. But there wasn't any shops looted as far as I could tell. Mobile phone shop on the corner of my street got its window put in, but it's actually had that window put in before, you see, so... but in certain parts of Liverpool, cars were burnt out. Wheelie bins were set alight, that sort of type of stuff. But that's that's better. Oh, that smells better. That sort of happens anyway, really. So it's it's like what normal civil disorder. But happening on a larger scale. It's the type of thing, areas like Kensington have been put up with for a long time. People stealing cars, people damaging cars. It's kids, basically. And what this country needs, what Britain needs, is jobs. Oh, you've noticed, but in the, we've had this financial crisis for the last 3.5 years. The country that's actually recovering quickest is Germany. And in the 1980s, Germany didn't lose its industrial base. We lost lots of factories, lots of people put on the dole, and to some extent, the jobs that replaced them, service industry jobs, which didn't pay as much money, didn't give you any prospects, put you on a temporary contract, which means you couldn't get a mortgage or a house or settle down or plan. I think that's at the root of it all. There isn't enough jobs. And we have a factory close to Liverpool. Used to be Ford factory, then it became a Jaguar factory, and now it's a Land Rover factory. It's now been taken over by an Indian company called Tati, and about 9 months ago, they decided to take on 1,300 young people to produce this new Range Rover that they're making, this new Land Rover, and they were real jobs. Decent pay, not fantastic pay, but decent pay. Prospects, because if the car's successful, obviously they'll make more of them, they'll need more people, there'll be overtime, and so for 1,300 young people in Liverpool who've got a future, which they didn't have before. And I think at the end of the day, in working class areas of Liverpool and beyond, people just don't see themselves having a future. They're demoralised, disgruntled, whatever you want to say. It's quite rough, this, folks. I'm suffering from my heart. It's getting better, that's quite a smooth shave on there. And I think the blade's settling a little bit. I don't trust it on my neck though. I think my neck's... And I'm gonna have to. That's still quite long actually. I think I'll put that down as a failure. Okay, so if you see one of these in a car boot sale, these blades don't really work in it, and I think you just use them for ornamental purposes, which is fair enough, I suppose. Okay, so we're gonna lather up again. We're gonna do a quick three shave with the Maker Future, which has still got it's got a Wilkinson sword edge in it. It's the second time it's been used, so I'm gonna start from scratch. Right. Start with the downward strokes. So how is everyone? How's it going on everywhere else? Is anyone watching this at riots as well? Or is it just us? Alright, okay. It's not bad lather that actually. The funny thing is about this soap, shaving soap, this Gillette. Is it Gillette? It's Gillette. It's got an instruction on it that says not to be used by the under 3 years old, which is quite interesting, isn't it? So maybe that's a sign of getting old, is that people start shaving younger and younger. It used to be policemen look younger, but now it's everything else. So any more updates? Football season started at Liverpool. Team I notionally support played yesterday. Spent £100 million on half a dozen players. Makes a great deal of sense, doesn't it? Managed to score 1-1 against Sunderland, which aren't exactly one of the best teams, so interesting to see whether it's another crap start for the season for Liverpool. Who knows? Finally, the final pass is going to go down the jaw, which is okay, and that jaw, which is okay, and then up. This Wilkinson sword edge blade and the Future's a pretty good combination actually. I've used Wilkinson sword edge for quite a long time actually, until quite recently. They were the only blades that you could really get hold of on in shops around here, and also they're quite cheap as well. I think it's about £3 for a pack of 5 or 10. And you also, if you get a Wilkinson sword classic, you get a free pack of 5 with that as well. Which we've talked about before. That's not bad. That's not bad cream, that actually. That's actually better than the Arco cream. It's not drying the skin out at all. The skin's nice and moist. It's not as good as the Arco soap, but it's at least as good as the Arco cream. And there's a little bit of like sting as well from the lemon and lime, so it makes your face feel quite fresh. But as you know, if you shave properly, your face feels fresh anyway, doesn't it? You don't need all these extra aloe vera and all this type of stuff, do you? You just need some decent shaving soap and a decent razor. Right, we're getting near the end now, so I'm just going to clean the brush off. Not bad. And 50p a tube, you can't really argue with that. And if you put a little squeeze like that, it's got to last a couple of months, hasn't it, really? So it's working out to pennies a shade, as opposed to £2.50 can or one of these posh gels that you can get. Okay, that's pretty good there. Can't really argue with that. The next coming up, just do a little bit, just a tiny bit there. Okay. Alright, that's looking okay, isn't it? Alright, so just pat that off. Like so. A little bit of cologne, a little bit of Arco cologne. I might actually look out for some different types of cologne as well. Cheap, not expensive. The whole idea is to keep all this within your budget. It's funny as well because the Gillette shaving cream I've just used, it suggests that it's the best cream to use with a Mach 3. Well, simple answer to that is don't use a Mach 3. Okay, so there we go. That's that done. I've got also some sad news about really sad news. The Arco cream's run out, so I'm gonna have to go back to Manavgat in Turkey to get this to the market over there. No, use the little tubes and put too much on them. More like Coco the Clown here. Oh no. Oh no. Do I look like I'm in a Japanese mime group? I think so. No, I'll just rub it in. Rub. It's lovely and cool as well, it makes you feel. I think out of all the process, putting the moisturiser on at the end is like nearly the most enjoyable because your skin suddenly starts to feel really fresh and nourished. Here we go. Whoop. You knocked my glasses up. Is that okay? I don't want to go out with a big lump of white goo on my face like I usually do. Okay, put the aftershave on a bit later and finish off and just say thanks. I'm gonna try and do a bit more regular ones actually. I've been sort of sticking to the weekend, but that's mainly because I've not been getting up very early. I'm gonna try and get a few out this week, especially if there's riots and news to talk about. And apart from that, that's about it really. So carry on shaving using the three passes. Don't forget you've got to use cologne afterwards. Then a bit of moisturiser. Doesn't matter about the moisturiser really, but again, like Arco's the best. And then finish off with a bit of aftershave and Bob's your uncle. So it's a goodbye from me, Steve Fadigan, Liverpool. Big shave. Sunday, August the 14th. Goodbye.